Former U.S. President Barack Obama should start admitting critical mistakes in his administration's Russia policy, including Moscow's illegal 2014 annexation of Crimea, a senior Ukrainian official said Friday. The current Russian regime is a blatant reflection of a specific pre-war Western policy, said Mikhailo Podolyak, an advisor to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky's office. Maybe it's time to start admitting critical mistakes instead of coming up with new excuses? Podolyak's comments are in reaction to former U.S. President Barack Obama's defense of his administration's reaction to the annexation of Crimea in an interview on CNN. Obama argued the full-scale invasion launched by Russian President Vladimir Putin last February came in a different context. Both myself, but also then German Chancellor Angela Merkel, who I give enormous credit for, had to pull in a lot of other Europeans kicking and screaming to impose the sanctions that we did and to prevent Putin from continuing through the Donbas and to the rest of Ukraine, Obama said in the interview, which aired on Thursday night on the U.S. East Coast. Given both where Ukraine was at the time and where the European mindset was at the time, we held the line. Both the US and the EU imposed sanctions on dozens of Russian and pro-Kremlin Ukrainian officials after Russia illegally annexed Crimea in 2014. But they faced criticism first from analysts for not targeting Putin or his inner circle and later from scholars for the sanctions' overall ineffectiveness. Obama, who famously launched a Russia reset after taking office in 2009, sought to restore relations between Washington and Moscow during his 2 terms. As he campaigned for re-election in 2012, the former president famously scoffed at his Republican opponent Mitt Romney for being out of touch with the new realities of American foreign policy after the former Massachusetts governor called Russia the US's #1 geopolitical foe. When you were asked, "What's the biggest geopolitical threat facing America?" you said Russia. "Not Al-Qaeda, you said Russia," Obama said then to Romney. And the 1980s are now calling to ask for their foreign policy back, because the Cold War's been over for 20 years. Obama doubled down in a long interview with The Atlantic in 2016, during his last year in office, saying Russia's influence in Ukraine was inevitable, no matter what we do. But this is an example of where we have to be very clear about what our core interests are and what we are willing to go to war for, he added.